your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin-yang, come along.
Well, come on along and welcome aboard to Indiana Sports Beat Radio for this scary Friday the 13th. Just realized that. Friday, September 13th. Day before Indiana taking on the Ohio State Buckeyes. A loaded show today. Man, I could not be any more excited if you paid me.
Joe Williams! Still on his feet! Joe Williams! What a run!
That is the voice of Gus Johnson. Fox broadcaster will be with us here on Indiana Sports Beat today. Looking forward to that. Hoping to have the Toddfather, as always, Todd Leary. Haven't talked to him yet today, but hoping for that. Tom Brew is going to be with us as well from Sports Illustrated Indiana. We got a lot to get to. The ticket giveaway. Oh, yes. Oh, my. It's been going on all week. Thanks for everybody for entering. You hear that? Ooh, those are all the names. Those are all the names. I'm gonna let it walk for a minute. Let it sit there. But big show on today. Indiana basketball, of course, announced that for Hoosier Hysteria, official visits for Christian Lander. They're getting him in the hall, along with Anthony Leo and Trey Galloway taking their officials after they've already committed. But that's just some of the pageantry that will be going on October 5th. At the Simon Assembly Hall for Hoosier Hysteria. I'm sure there'll be more names added to that list. How about Indiana women's soccer? Last night, Alawia Wos scored in the 87th minute. Put Indiana up 2-1 over UT Martin. That evens their record at 3-3, man. They've won back-to-back matches. Congratulations to them. Coach Edward Van Bennekom is trying to get that program up, and they've been playing pretty well. They've won 2 in a row. You know, the last one they lost was to Louisville, who is undefeated right now. They play Kentucky on Sunday in Lexington is where they are right now already playing these matches. But Kentucky also, I think, 5-0-2, undefeated. So, good luck to the women. Man, a lot to get to today. Of course, Indiana taking on Ohio State tomorrow. Noon kickoff on Fox. Gus Johnson on the call. He's with us here today on Indiana Sports Beat. Looking forward to that. What I'm not looking forward to is Indiana without Michael Penix. But our friends at WDRB Fox in Louisville posted a video clip that I just saw this morning. And if you haven't, go to my Twitter page. I just reposted it at Jim Coyle ISB. But you can see after he throws a touchdown, his second touchdown to Peyton Hendershot, I believe that's who it was to. But he shakes hands with his right arm, with his right hand, which that's normal for the rest of us. I don't know how that is for a left-hander. But you can visibly see something doesn't look quite right with that shoulder. His other arm is moving a little more freer. So hope it's just something simple. Nothing to worry about, but definitely a little something there. So, and with a rocket cannon of an arm that he's got, you got to take care of that, man. You got to take care of that. So, a lot to get to today. Like I said, Gus Johnson's on. Hopefully, the Toddfather will be with us. Tom Brew. Going to hear from Tom Allen as he spoke to the media about all this as well. So we'll get to that. Am I missing anything, Jake? Plus the ticket giveaway, of course. Free pair of tickets to a lucky listener to the Ohio State-Indiana game tomorrow. We're doing this early so we can make sure we get that information to them to make sure that they will have all the time they need to do. Yep, there's the Toddfather. He will be with us. Just always double-checking. You never know with the Toddfather, man. Busy dude. He's making offers that people can't refuse, so can't ever tell. But I know Hoosier fans are excited about the lineup so far for Hoosier Hysteria on the basketball side. Darson Garcia, I know that they're desperately trying to get in. They would love to get him in for that. They'd love that. They prefer a commitment prior to that. I think Indiana is personally, and this is just my personal opinion, I think that they're in good shape with Garcia. Because he should know he's going to play from day one. Indiana's going to be depleted in the front court. You've got Race Thompson that'll be back for sure. Well, nothing's for sure. But as right now as it lays out, Race Thompson will be here. Trace Jackson Davis should be a junior at that time. That's if crazy things happen. Kids enter the draft sometimes. So if he's still around, I believe so. Oh, that's true. I don't know what I'm thinking. But I was thinking about future on down the road. But it's going to be good to have a solidified front court and one that you can get them in and get some experience with these guys. That's why you don't want to go a couple of years and have blanks like at the point guard position. They're kind of off. They're off kilter. They're out of balance as far as positional. You'd rather prefer to have seen that point guard come in last year. So this season they're getting the experience. Now it's going to be the other way around, unless they can pull one out here quickly. But we'll see who that fourth scholarship's going to go to. I know that they may even add 5. They may overbook by 1. But Darson Garcia, without doubt, is target el numero uno. But I know Tom Ostrom has some pretty good contacts for that Minnesota way, and plus you already have Race Thompson on the team, so you never know if he's reaching out to him or not, but hopefully so. For Indiana's sake, it would be nice to see them have a well-rounded recruiting class, and Dawson Garcia. If you can get Dawson Garcia and a point guard, well, that's a home run recruiting class. Right now, it's not. Right now, it's okay. You've got some solid players coming in that are going to be foundation-type players for the program. But Tim points out on the text in 22 days away. It's only 22 days away from Hoosier Hysteria. If you want to text into the show, feel free to do so, 812-269-6367. You can text in regardless of any time of day. I know a lot of people listen when we're not live, but that's okay. Text in your questions or comments anytime. We'll get to them. 812-269-6367. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Jim Coyle ISB. Also our YouTube channel, man. I post all of our videos to our YouTube channel. All the interviews, all the post-game press conferences, pre-game press conferences, everything that's done video-wise goes on the YouTube channel. The shows are there as well, but that's where all the interviews go. So feel free to hit that up, and you can follow us on Spreaker. There's so many ways. I mean, besides the radio stations where you can catch the show at your leisure, but more importantly, catch a lot of the other IndianaSportsBeat.com is probably about as good a place as any, because you can get the articles, you can get the videos, you can get the shows, you can get about anything. You can get a date with Jake. I'm about to create. Oh, he's shaking his head. I'm about to create a new column. Date of Jake. Date of Jake. There we go. Date of Jake. Like that. Sounds like Christmas, doesn't it? It's going to be Christmas to somebody. I'm going to pull that out right before we go off from this segment. Going to shake it up a little bit more. Man, I was listening to, did you know there's a Gus Johnson sound card? Just nothing but calls of Gus Johnson.
I was looking for his Twitter, handle for the show description, and his first tweet on there is just ah.
Oh man, he is just, and it's like he came out of nowhere. You know, you knew who all the announcers were if you followed sports, and all of a sudden it's like, what? Who is this?
Inside the Indiana 10.
Quarterback draw. He's got running room and a first down.
Watch out! Twitch. He's got get away from the cop speed. Touchdown.
Did he say get away from the cop speed? Man, he must. I cannot wait to ask him that. Where does he come up with all these phrases that are so unique? It's just, he's a fan favorite. I've just had a lot of response. I don't usually promote visits by many people, but his I felt was worthy of that. And man, I got a great response. People, oh man, I can't wait. Yeah, me too. I'm actually excited. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to the Gus Band being on. I can't wait. Also, a few more texts into the show. Roger from Evansville asked if Jerome Hunter can't play, would that not open up that fifth scholarship? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Talked about that. Absolutely. If they determine that he's not going to be able to play, period. Yeah. They've been holding on to that. We don't know where that is right now. But yeah, that's it, Roger. It sure would. And then who knows? There's always the possibility of a transfer or whatnot. You hope that's not how it comes to be, but we'll see. Also, another text in from Tim. IU's looking at a 6'5" wide receiver from Canada who now lives in Hollywood, Florida. That would be a good get with his height. Now, I assume that he's being looked at as a tight end. And if he's in Florida, man, Tom Allen's got the pipeline. No doubt about that. We all know. Yeah, oh, man. Yeah, I hate to hear that about Michael Penix. You just wanted that thought of knowing what could be. Now, I got to tell you, though, all is not lost with Peyton Ramsey. I mean, he threw for 322 yards against Ohio State last year at Ohio State. That was his best game as an Indiana Hoosier, period. Now, there's some numbers that I was running yesterday. There's the sound of Christmas. In the fourth quarter, Ohio State, over the last 5 seasons, has outscored Indiana by an average of 14-3. In the first 3 quarters over the last 5 seasons, it's been 28-20 going into the fourth quarter. Now, that's the average. Last 2 trips to Bloomington, Indiana was leading at the half, including, was it 2 years ago when they opened up the college football season on that Thursday night with college game day in the house. They were not only leading after the half, they were leading with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter, 21-20, and then the wheels fell off as they just did not score again. All right. Here we go. I'm reaching in. Who's this lucky person I'm going to pull out? Oh, I've got one. I think I've got one. Oh, there's too many. All right, I got one. Nope, I can't read my own writing. Noah Wide. Noah, you won yourself 2 tickets to the Indiana-Ohio State football game, courtesy of the Jeremy Temple Law Office. I'll reach out to you on Twitter and make contact. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this segment. We got a lot more coming up on the program. Looking forward to the Toddfather joining us today. Todd Leary, Tom Brew from Sports Illustrated Indiana. Also, But, of course, our special guest for the day.
Play fake. Beathard sets up deep in the pocket. Goes down the field for Smith.
Gus Johnson will be with us here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Stay tuned. We got a lot more coming up here right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the golf club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is A.J. Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lewis, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
You're on the line with Jamal Meeks, former Indiana Hoosier, number 23, 1992. And I'm on the beat with Jim Coyle.
And I'll forget about these feet of mine. I got to keep on walking. Hey, I got to walk on.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat Radio, of course, coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios here on this Friday the 13th. Indiana taking on the Buckeyes tomorrow. Gus Johnson's going to be in the house on the call on Indiana Sports Beat today. Big day. The Toddfather, Todd Brew, we got a big loaded show. Tom Allen, of course, was the man of the hour yesterday as we met with him to find out exactly what was going on with the all the scuttlebutt. Heard about Michael Penix. Unfortunately, we got that answer and more. Here's how that went.
A little toasty out there. Good week. Guys that worked really hard. A lot of good focus. Obviously, first conference game, so everything gets intensified for what we're about to step into from the last 2 weeks, and feel like that the guys have embraced that. And we just coach them till kickoff is our mindset here, and it's our philosophy as a program. And Thursday's practice is not a review practice for us. It's even though we're not shoulder pads, it's still a full speed practice, and tag tempo is what we use to be able to attack the ball carriers. But as far as the reps and everything we're doing, and then approach it that way, review tomorrow, and then kick it off at noon on game day. So that's where we're at, ready to roll.
Forgive the $64,000 Twitter question, but how's Michael?
Yeah, it's he's working through some things right now, so we're not 100% sure. So it's going to be a game day decision. So, but that's why you have multiple quarterbacks, and if he can't go, then Peyton will be ready, and I feel great about Peyton. He's won a lot of games for us here, and he's a great player.
Is it upper body, lower body?
I'm not going to give you specifics,
Sure.
So, but it's not a long-term thing, we don't think. So we're just working through it, trying to get rehabbed, but I guess we'll know more.
Has he been able to practice at all this week?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit.
If Michael can't go, how does that change your attack on Ohio State offensively?
Not a lot. They're very similar quarterbacks and skill set wise, so really not really much changes at all. So that's a good part about it. We were able to just be who we are and run our offense. So we'll be ready.
From a confidence standpoint, does it help Peyton? He had a pretty good game against Ohio State last year.
No question, and he's from Ohio, so enough said.
I mean, how important is it, the snaps he got last week, too, and particularly how efficient he
Yeah,
was?
there's no question, and didn't even know at the time, about all that. So it was just really it worked out really good for us, for him, and it was important. I knew he needed to get reps regardless, and just the bottom line is that he's played a lot of football, but it is a new system. That's why I wanted to get him a lot last week, and we were able to do that. Even got a chance to get Jack in there quite a bit, so which is good because based on what happens, he's obviously has to be ready to go as well. So that's how it works, and bottom line is you never know, and that's why I said in the beginning, even when we made the decision that you don't know how things are going to play out, and when I sat down with those guys, I said you got to be ready every single week. You never know when you're going to get called upon. It could happen during a game as well. So happens all across the country, and you got to be ready to rise up and be ready to play. So if that's what we have to do, then next man up, and we just don't blink. We do not blink.
Did Michael get injured in the game Saturday?
Not that I'm aware of. No, I think it's just something that's just kind of, he just said this wasn't feeling right, So, but don't want to get too specific on exactly, but it wasn't it was not during the game. So.
Any update on Cam Jones, whether he'll be able to?
Yeah, I tell you what, he's practiced full board the last 2 days, and I think he's looked really good, so I expect him to play.
Sorry, I'm pushing the any update thing a little bit more, but does it have anything to do with his knee? With
not gonna,
what he went through last.
Yeah, no, he's it's really, I really feel like whatever it is, it's not going to be a long-term thing. I really don't. So, and I just say that way. I'm always pretty straightforward, as much as I can be. I try to be as transparent as I can be and do it the right way. But I feel good about it being a short-term thing. So,
not that you don't want to run the ball to begin with, but I mean, does establishing a solid ground game become even more important if you don't have maybe Michael's ability to stretch a defense over the top?
Oh, I think it's always critical to have that run game piece. It sets up so many things, and a lot of times, you see this at the highest level. A lot of times, it's always about the respect factor they have to have for it. Just the number of times that you run the football, and you want to be productive. The more productive, the better. But continuing to run the football to be able to set up the pass game. So there's no question that it's always a big deal. But it becomes a very important part of it. Anytime you play a team of this caliber, both phases, the run game and the pass game, have got to be effective. And that's you become one-dimensional. It makes it really tough.
Against Eastern Illinois. Jamar Johnson started at Husky. Is Marcelino the guy you anticipate starting at Husky and playing a majority?
Yes, we do. And so, we were working through him on to get him to play at the level I wanted him to play at and the discipline I wanted to play with. And that was, kind of holistically part of all that last week. And he got the message, and I believe he's going to move forward and have a great rest of his senior season, or on the field senior season. He's got one more year eligibility-wise, but with a red shirt. But he's one of our leaders, and so I expect high things from those guys. And the way that you play and how you handle yourself during the snap and after the whistle. And so I think that was message heard loud and clear. So I really appreciate how he responded. So he'll be the guy moving forward. But I tell you what, Jamar's doing some good things, So it was great to give him a chance to get him a start and a chance to play more. And so those reps will be valuable moving forward.
In the first two games, through the first two games, the offensive scheme under Kalen DeBoer seemed to be a lot more flexible than the past. How critical is that going into a game like this with potentially not having your starter?
Oh, I think it's key. I love what we do offensively, and obviously the system is being built week by week. But that's the true value in having two guys for sure that have both played, and then you got a third guy that's got a chance to get in there. But just the critical nature of having multiple guys, and just talked about that to our team this morning and whatever may happen moving forward. But at the same time, you want a system that is able to create diversity no matter who's at that spot. But there's no question that that person is a major driver in what we do. And, like I said, whoever we're going to put out there is going to be well prepared and be able to be at their best.
Mike's handled an injury during the offseason. How has he handled this week?
Yeah, I think that's just part of the whole. Anytime you have things like this, you got to dive into your rehab, and I will say, Cam Jones was a perfect example of that this week. Just really embraced it and did everything that was asked and beyond, and that's how it's called being a pro. We talk about that a lot with our guys. You got to learn how to come out of high school. You don't really know. Some of our guys don't even have trainers, full-time trainers at their schools. They have maybe some that come in part-time or split it up or whatever. And so just that whole idea of just embracing the process of rehab is a very hard thing for some young guys, and so that's going to be critical for him and anybody else that gets dinged up, and as every week passes, more and more guys get dinged up. So it's never a negative thing to live in that training room, because that's how you get healthy, that's how you get better, that's how you help your team, and that's how you take care of your body. So we're teaching our guys that, and obviously Mike is a young quarterback, and he will. He'll respond.
Yeah, if you have to make a change this week for whatever reason, how critical was it to be able to get Jack Tuttle those snaps that he got last week?
You know what? Huge, and I just think that, I'm a man of faith, and the good Lord always knows things that we don't even know sometimes, so you just do things the right way and trust in those things for yourself that you believe in, and that's what we do here, and that's what I do, and so you just don't blink. You just keep working hard, you keep doing things the right way, and then you want to be thorough in your preparation, and that's why when things like this happen, you have to have a bunch of different options ready, and that was definitely one of them. But it could prove out to be a very, very important part of the progression of our team.
Chase Young, we talked a lot about him. You were in the SEC. Does he remind you of anybody, or is there anything about the qualities he has as a player that make him unique?
Well, he looks like the ones that we played against, in that conference. There's no doubt about it, So there's multiple ones in that league that the D-line to me is always what really made that, that conference very unique and very challenging, And so, but just a combination of length, power, great speed. His motor has increased, over time, which usually does happen as a guy matures and he gets coached, and they have a great, coaching staff there that's going to get him fundamentally right, technically right, effort piece, holding those guys accountable. So you can tell he's bought into all that. So he's playing at a high level right now and creates a lot of issues for the offense. But no, he's like I said, I think I said last night, he's a first-round draft pick guy. So he's special.
How important is the crowd going to be Saturday? You think?
Huge. I'm telling you. Just having a great group here, and I expect that, and just be loud when they're on the field, and energy when we're on the field, and just being a great part of winning a football game. It's all phases. It takes all of us. We had one of our alumni out here today, and just a guy, I got a chance to meet him. I just tell you, hey, we need all you guys back as much as possible. I invite them to come to practice, come to games, get the crowd going, and that's just, it's big. We just need every possible component to be working together, flowing together, and helping us be special on game day. So yes, the crowd's going to be huge.
The way that Ohio State travels, you're going to squeeze those guys out.
They're welcome to whatever seats are open, but hopefully there's not a lot of open seats for them to sit in. So, but we expect it to be that way, and they'll have a good following. They travel well. So, but that's what they built. That's what their tradition is established, and so hats off to them for that. Awesome. Thanks, have a great day. Elio.
Ohio State game. Can you not hear me, Jake? Okay, good. I want to make sure. I have a little mic issue there. On when it's not supposed to be on and off when it's not supposed to be off. But there's Tom Allen talking about all things going into the Ohio State game. Tomorrow, the Buckeyes coming to town. I noticed that the spread had inched its way up to 18 points yesterday. That's an additional 5 after the announcement that Michael Penix is a game-time decision. And after watching that, I don't know, there's Fox 41 in Louisville, who, by the way, provides the absolute most television coverage of any station in the state of Indiana. But the funny thing is, they're not even in Indiana. They're in Louisville. And yet they provide the most coverage of any TV station thus far through the football season. But they had a video clip that showed Michael Penix, after throwing a touchdown pass to, I believe it was Peyton Hendershot, he shakes his hand with his right hand, which, of course, Penix is left-handed. Now, right-handed, that's most common for right-handers. I'm not sure how left-handers do it, but if you're looking for something, there was that. And then as he's walking off the field, he looked a little gingerly with that left shoulder. So hopefully it's nothing. Hopefully it's just a temporary setback. Coach Allen said that. You heard him in the press conference there, that he does not think this is anything long-term. But let's hope. But, again, there's no reason to just hang your head, because Peyton Ramsey had his best game as a Hoosier against Ohio State last year. He threw for 322 yards. Part of the reason that they couldn't win that game or any of the other games, they've been outscored 70-17 in the fourth quarter over the last 5 seasons. A couple things have to come into play. The defense has to not wear down and stop Ohio State. You cannot just let them score at will and expect to win the game. So it's going to take things on both sides of the ball. It's not just offense here. And, Peyton Ramsey is a very worthy backup. He's a great backup. He's solid. You saw him in the Eastern Illinois game. He went 13-14. They lose the element of going downfield, of going deep. And when you don't have to respect that, it changes things a little bit. Does that make it impossible? No, not by any means. Not by any means. But it's going to take all hands on deck. There's going to be a lot being asked of this defense. You can't give up 40 points and expect the offense to be able to just score at will on the other end. They're not trying to let you score. That's not exactly a half-ass defense over there. This is the top 6 team in the country. To me, they're a top 5 team in the country. They got bumped down this week just because of LSU's big win over Texas, which I don't know why that makes Ohio State any less of an opponent. It doesn't. But it's going to be a tough match. It's going to be a tough game, period. And there's no guarantees that Indiana could win that game with Penix. The offense is not what my concern is, to be honest with you. It's still not my concern, to be honest with you, going into this game. It's the defensive front line. It's the offensive line. While Indiana's offensive line is good, they're not as deep. Yeah, Indiana's depth has gotten much better, but it's not where it needs to be to be on par with an Ohio State, Michigan, all that. They're getting there, and it's going to take time. Hey, we got a lot coming up here on the program today, man. Gus Johnson's going to join us. Tom Brew, Todd Leary. Hoping to get to all of it. May have to change and get Todd Leary now, but we'll be back with more on Indiana Sports Beat Radio from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios right after this.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway, Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs, Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the golf club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lord, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day, or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
This is James Blackman Jr., former Indiana Hoosier. Make sure you're keeping up with the Hoosiers on Indiana Sports Beat.
Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry.
Nobody puts baby in the corner. It's Friday. You know what that means. We're going to him a little soon, but calling for the old left hand. He's tapping the arm. Bullpen. Todd Larry, the Toddfather, joins us. Todd, how are you, brother?
I'm great. How are you?
Good, good. How's your week been?
It has been good. We had great weather. Got to play golf yesterday. It's been a good week, but sorry I had to throw a curveball actually this morning. Go a little bit earlier, but work. You know how it is.
Hey, that's the lifeblood of America, baby. We can't slow
That's
down.
right.
That's a train that doesn't stop. Are you going to make it in for the Ohio State game this weekend?
I am not. Unfortunately, in the city of Evansville, we've had too many deaths this week, so we've got some burials going on tomorrow.
That's unfortunate all the way around, of course, but it's unfortunate for Indiana as it looks like Michael Penix, the starting quarterback. It's a game-time decision, but and there's no indication on whether or not he's really going to be able to play. I'm going with no. I saw a video Fox 41 in Louisville put up that you could actually see after he throws a touchdown pass to Peyton Hendershot. He shakes his hand with his right hand, which he's left-handed, and he's a little ginger going off, so you could see something win a miss there, but it's still going to be an exciting game. I think Indiana's offense is just going to be clicking. It's going to be missing an element, of course, that Michael Penix brings to the table. That's like having a great 3-point shooter on the court and then losing him. It's not like your game's destroyed, but you're going to have to make adjustments.
Yeah, and just that threat, even if he doesn't run a whole bunch or doesn't move outside the pocket and extend plays, it's just the threat of being able to do that. It changes the defense that Ohio State plays and how aggressive they are, and they know they've got to contain him in the pocket. And in that case, without him in the lineup, that's just not the case at quarterback. Now, Indiana may throw the ball better and it may end up working out just fine, just like you said, but it kind of changes the whole game plan, I would say, defensively for Ohio State.
Yeah, this is not exactly Tua Tagovailoa and what's his name? It's at Oklahoma.
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, it's not exactly of that nature, but coming off the bench, he lost his starting job. What a story that would make if he had his best game of his career against Ohio State last year. He threw for 322 yards in a 49-26 loss, I think. But man, this is what stories are written about, man. It can happen.
It is, no doubt about it. I mean, he's got the opportunity, and that's that's great. But I mean, we're also assuming that Penix isn't going to play. I mean, whether he does or doesn't, you can assume that we're going to see both quarterbacks, I would think, at some point in time if Penix is able to play even. But this is a great opportunity. This is where you do things that people will remember for 20, 30, 40 years if you're able to come out and have some outstanding performance here and pull out a victory. So yeah, it's a great opportunity for him and for the team in general.
Absolutely, and it's not like you're bringing some guy that's raw off the bench. He's played for 2 seasons. He started every game last year.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, they've got a guy that they're confident in. They know they can get the job done and execute the offense they want to run. And it's not like they're just throwing a brand new guy in, but also they'd also bring some expectations because people know that he's capable of doing it. So I don't think, I think Indiana fans always root for the opportunity to beat Ohio State in that scenario. And if you were bringing in a true backup quarterback that people didn't know a whole lot about, I would say Indiana fans would be much less optimistic. But I don't think that's the case here. So, Indiana fans will still be pretty optimistic even without Penix. But, we'll see how it works out.
It kind of reminds me of a time that you're familiar with when Alan Henderson went down. How did you guys, when that happened, what was the mood like? When something like that happens, what does that do to a team mentally?
It's kind of, I assume this is the case everywhere, but it's not something that everybody sits around and starts going, okay, you're going to need to get 2 more rebounds and you're going to need to average 2 more points and you're going to need to do this. I mean, everybody just kind of figures out a way to step up and do different things and do things that they're good at and maybe do them a little bit better or execute a little bit better. And, that's when you've got a guy like Alan Henderson who is so, he's kind of freakishly tall and athletic and long arms. And he comes up with those one goofy rebounds that, you're like, geez, how did he get that rebound? Or how is he that much higher than everyone else? And so, those guys come up with some crazy plays like that. You're probably not going to have that play. It's like Penix may extend a play and pick up a big first down with his legs that you might not be able to have without him being in there. But it doesn't mean the play's not going to happen. It doesn't mean that Ramsey doesn't throw for a good first down or, one of our guys would have got that rebound, just it wouldn't have been as impressive looking. So, guys will step up, but I don't think in the locker room everyone will be sitting around here going, okay, well, without him, this is what we got to do. It just doesn't work out that way. Everybody's confident in their abilities. Everybody is kind of, you wouldn't be at that point if you weren't pretty cocky about how good you were. So other guys think they can step up and fill that void. When they do, that's the stories that you're talking about. Those are when things are incredible and a guy gains all the confidence, not only in himself, but the coaching staff gains confidence in him as well. And he's able to get a lot more playing time. And that's when cool stories like this work out.
Absolutely. We'll certainly see because we're going to have the opportunity. I mean, it's, you'd like to see Penix in there because there's a reason he's the starter and mainly because he gives them the element to go deep. But Peyton Ramsey, like I said, he's not some spring chicken. He's been in there. He's played. He's won a lot of games for Indiana, and he's solid. So, and the team is used to being with him as well. So there's that confidence level that they don't have to worry about
getting to, it's already there. They're comfortable with him. The receivers are comfortable with him. The running backs, everybody, the line, he's recognized as a team presence, as a leader. So I think that's a lot easier for this change as well, because he can step right in.
Yeah, outside of the maybe true freshman receivers and tight ends, I mean, still at this point, the receivers that have been there for a while are going to have caught more passes from Ramsey than they have from Penix. So, I mean, it's not like they're not comfortable. It's not like they don't know, the ball comes out differently and, you catch it differently, or they just have tendencies of where they throw the ball and how they do it. I mean, that's not going to be that unique to these guys because they've been doing it for a year or two already. So, it won't be like a true, new guy coming in the role, but it'll be different because, Penix did win the starting job, and he did it for a reason. So it wasn't just like, the coaching staff said, hey, let's just try this differently. And they did it for a reason. So, we'll see how it ends up working out. And hopefully they both get to play and every injuries go away. And, it ends up being a fun Saturday afternoon.
Are you a superstitious guy? He just fell over. As soon as I asked that, I think he dropped his phone. We may have lost him.
What's that? Hello.
I thought I lost you. I was laughing because
I did drop my phone. I don't know what happened.
That's the very second I asked if you were a superstitious guy, because today's Friday the 13th. I swear it's funny.
Well, you know what? It's bad luck to be superstitious, so I'm not a superstitious guy.
There you go. I hear you. It's Friday the 13th, so especially in your business. But
yeah, no doubt.
A lot of announcements coming out in regards to basketball. Hoosier Hysteria is October 5th. It's only 22 days away, someone pointed out. Christian Lander from down there in Evansville writes he'll be in attendance making an official visit to Indiana this the Hoosier Hysteria. He'll be joined by Leland Galloway, of course. But Christian Lander, one of those guys that Archie has to get almost, and he's been down there almost 30 times, I've been told. So he's definitely making a run at him. Have you gotten a chance to see him play?
I have not. I have never seen him shoot a basketball, so I don't have a great insight as to him as a player. I do know the coaching staff is super high on him, and I know Pat Graham in this area has seen him play a bunch of times, and he speaks extremely highly of him. And, Pat doesn't do that if a guy's not pretty darn good. So he must be the real deal.
Yeah, he's a pretty good point guard. He's good with the ball in his hands. He's 6'1". He's developing a good shot. He's quick. He's really quick. That's someone that they're definitely looking to get. But also the roster, Archie he's looking for a big guy. Dawson Garcia is a big kid out of Minnesota they're trying to land. But how important is to keep this roster position-wise the same, because they're almost loading up on the wing position, but he's really trying to land Garcia, which is he's 6'11". But when you don't have roster balance over the years, how does that affect a team?
Well, I mean, it obviously is going to expose some weaknesses that you have, but it's so difficult. You could have the typical team and have a point guard and a shooting guard and two forwards and a center. And if they don't mesh and play well together and, if their games don't commingle with each other and end up being a good unit, then it doesn't matter that you've got those spots filled or not. I mean, you see a lot of teams that have, 2 point guards on the floor, or 2 shooting guards and no point guard, or no big guys. I mean, that's a pretty common occurrence when it comes to a lot of teams. So, it's really a matter of how they play together and what kind of, if they're all out there with the same goal and that goal is team and to win, then they'll figure out, those guys are good enough to figure out a way to make their games meld together. But if not, if you get the outliers out there that are worried about how many points they score or how many assists they have or how many rebounds they get and things like that. Well, actually, rebounds is never the case, because a guy can get as many rebounds as he wants and he's never selfish. So you want guys that are selfish from a rebounding perspective. But, as long as the guys have a common goal, and that is to do whatever has to happen to make the team win, I'm not a believer in you have to have, a true point guard and a shooting guard and 2 forwards and a center.
Absolutely. Normally you're the star of the show when you're on Fridays.
You're saying that like this is going to be different today.
Guess who's on today with us?
Oh boy, who we got?
No, you don't have to guess. You're not going to guess.
No, I wouldn't.
The voice, that's Gus Johnson.
Bull crap. You got the voice on here?
Yeah, baby.
Oh man, yeah.
Hey.
I am definitely second. Now I know why you wanted me to move up and go earlier, because I'd give him a full hour if I was you.
Stepping up today, stepping up the game a little bit.
I like it. That's nice. He's legit. He's got the best voice. It's awesome. So he's the new. When his voice comes on in a game, it's a big game. So I love it when listening to his voice and when he does games.
Yeah, me too. And it's so funny because like when I was growing up, I knew all the announcers. I knew who they were.
Right.
And it's like he came out of nowhere. And it's like, wow, who is this guy, man?
Yeah. Yep, I agree. I think he's been practicing that voice since he was younger. So he has perfected it, and it is perfect for college basketball. That's for sure.
Oh, it's amazing. You love I think he's the one that coined the phrase the Carnegie Hall of college basketball for Simon Scott Assembly Hall.
Really?
I believe that's the first time I heard it. But if you Google him, there's like soundboards of all these different phrases he throws out. It's like, wow, it's funny. It's like, that's a lot of phrases, man. I don't know how you can come up with all that stuff. You must spend half the time doing that.
Well, so does Jim Nance. So, Jim Nance always has that one-liner to close out a show every game he does. So,
yeah, he's got that. He certainly has a great voice for
his
golf.
voice is butter. Like he was born to do what he's doing. That's for sure.
Butter, baby, butter. It's butter. What are the plans for the weekend for Leary Todd?
It is a lot of burials, so it will not be. It'll be a work weekend. It won't be an exciting one.
Well, you know how to bring a party down, don't you?
Yep, I know it. You asked. I had kind of alluded to it already. You want my honest answer? That's what I'm doing.
That's right. Hey, gotta have it. How did you come up? Was Todd Leary taken on Twitter?
I have no idea.
I just wondered. So, how did you end up going with Leary Todd?
I have no idea.
Because actually, it's pretty ingenious. Because it's like you can't forget it. Seriously, it's like it's stuck.
Okay, well then I'll say it took me a long time to think it out and come up with that way to do it, but I have no clue.
At Leary Todd, I love it. I love it.
Yep.
Well,
yep.
I love having you on, brother, each and every week. I can't thank you enough. I hope you have are able to find some fun time for the weekend. But
I appreciate that. I know the rest of your show is going to be great. Can't wait to hear Gus Johnson. So let me know how it goes. Tell him I said hello and he's the best.
I will do so, man. Thank you very much. At Leary Todd,
cool.
Joining us here on the program as he does each week, brother. Have a great weekend. Todd Leary, our good friend here, joining us a little earlier than normal, but we got a special day, so we got a lot to get to. But as he said, Gus Johnson on the program today, the voice. Tom Brew's going to join us from Sports Illustrated Indiana as well. Hey, I want to thank Jeremy Temple Law Office in Bloomington for the tickets that we were able to give away for the Ohio State-Indiana football game. The lucky winner, Noah Wide. I don't know where Noah's from. Thanks a lot to everybody for entering. We appreciate you. We'll continue to always try to do stuff like this. I like to reward the listeners, man. Appreciate it. But lots coming up this weekend as well. Don't forget about women's soccer, man. They had a big win over UT Martin last night. They're now 3-3. That's 2 wins in a row, and that's coming off of losing a late score to Louisville when Louisville's undefeated. You've got Christian Lander making an official visit to the Simon Scott Assembly Hall for Hoosier Hysteria on October 5th. He is also be joined by Anthony Leal and Trey Galloway making their official visits, even though they've already committed to the Hoosiers. They still have not taken their officials. So we got that going for us, which is nice. Archie's out on the recruiting trail trying to land Dawson Garcia. He's a big 6'11" kid out of Minnesota. It's somebody that they really need. If they can land him, and I think they're in a good position with him, I really do. but that's not based on inside information. That's just a straight up opinion. But that will give really, really good balance to this recruiting class. I mean, that will really that would be a star on this recruiting class, to be honest with you. And it would give exceptional balance to it, though. You've got a good shooter in Anthony Leal. You've just got just a heady, all-around utility type player in Galloway. That dude's going to mean a lot to this program, I think. But if you can add someone like Dawson Garcia, who's a big, that gives you great roster balance, and that is very important as you're going forward. And also, it's important because they need to get that kid in here now, not 2 years from now when they're going to be a freshman, so they can learn under some of these guys. So, looking forward to all that. Got a lot coming up. The Voice, Gus Johnson's going to join us. We just heard from Todd Leary. Also, Tom Brew from Sports Illustrated Indiana is going to join us as well. We've already heard from Tom Allen. Thanks a lot again to Jeremy Temple, law office in Bloomington. If you need anything, he'll take care of your every legal way need. Just have to get his phone number out for the next hour and give that to you. But we got a lot coming up. Stay tuned. Indiana Sports Beat Radio coming back with more from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lord, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day, or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Hey, this is Jordan Halls, former Indiana Hoosier. Keep up with Indiana sports on Indiana Sports Beat.
This hour is brought to you by Sweetland Waste and Removal Service, a homegrown company serving Southern Indiana since 1995.
Well, we're coming to your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin yang, come along.
Come on along and welcome aboard. Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat Radio here on this creepy Friday the 13th. Coming to you, of course, from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Jake's at the wheel, keeping us on the track. Lot to get to. Big weekend coming up. Indiana football taking on the Ohio State Buckeyes, number 6 in the country. National TV audience, Fox Television, of course, on the call, The Voice.
Here's Richardson to throw. Looks. Oh, what a catch! Jerome Wesley! That is the one!
That is the look. Gus Johnson, The Voice, will be with us here in our third segment, final segment of the hour. Looking forward to it, man. That's one that has excited me. Looking forward to that. Also on the program, Tom Brew from Sports Illustrated Indiana. Get to talk a little bit about the weekend coming up. Indiana football looking at going at the number 6 Buckeyes without the services of their starter Michael Penix, but fortunately they have a backup in Peyton Ramsey that has started every game of last season, played for 2 years. So it's a little bit of a drop off, obviously, because there's a reason Michael Penix won the starting job. His ability to go deep is no secret that's one of the things that probably won that job for him, in addition to his legs. But Ramsey's not exactly any slouch by any of the stretch of the imagination. Had his best game was a Hoosier against the Buckeyes last year, throwing for 322 yards, a great performance by him. That wasn't enough, but it's going to take more than offense for this team. The defense has to step up. You know, if you look at the last 5 seasons, Indiana has been outscored by the Buckeyes in the fourth quarter 70-17. That's getting outscored 14-3. They on average, they've gone into the fourth quarter trailing by a touchdown over the last 5 seasons. Now, the last 2 trips to Bloomington, Indiana was leading at the half. As a matter of fact, 2 years ago, they on that big Thursday night college football opener, they were leading 21-20 with just over 3 minutes to go in the third quarter when the Buckeyes kind of blew up. But a big part of that has been fatigue, just player fatigue, not having the depth to stay with them, the defense wearing down. So it's going to take a yeoman's effort by the Indiana's defense. And that young defensive line is going to be tested. Fatigue should not be a problem because they have been rotating a ton of guys in and out of those positions. So it shouldn't be a fatigue issue, but it may be an experience issue. So, but let's hope to see how it goes. And on top of that, this offense under Kalen DeBoer is again, the only thing that's going to be missing is this truly, truly deep threat. Because if you've paid attention to his offense, and I kind of could see that coming through fall camp, it's like a machine gun coming at you. You don't know where the ball's going. It could be going to a running back out of the backfield, to the tight end, to a wide receiver, to who knows whether it's a lot of – it's just a lot. It's a lot for it keeps defenses on their toes, I promise you. So I still think Indiana can do enough offensively here. I think this game's going to come down to defense for Indiana. Can they get a stop? Can they get a turnover? They've done so well with the turnovers. You know, they had that streak of 19 straight games leading the country until it was broken last week in that blowout win, mainly because they dominated Eastern Illinois so much they didn't have the damn ball long enough to turn it over. They had one chance where they almost got an interception that was batted around, but they didn't have the opportunities they normally have because they were so dominant. But if you watch, I was watching the Michigan Army game. Man, turnovers nearly destroyed Michigan in that game. And that's what happens. If you can get a turnover, a timely turnover here and there, things can happen. So I'm not like going into this game with my head down. I'm still excited. I, of course, would rather have seen Penix out there, but it is what it is. Next man up. I think it's going to be a fun, exciting game. The fact that it's in Bloomington, Indiana has played all these teams so with Michigan, Ohio State. They play well at home. They play well on the road as well, and obviously Ohio State's going to be about a third of the stadium. Let's be honest about that. Indiana's bringing 30,000 people a game. Well, I promise you Ohio State's going to bring 20, 25,000 with them. They travel. Great time to get the media guide photo from overhead. Stadium's full of red like Chronic Hoosier is talking about. It'll be packed. It's a noon game, noon kickoff. Fox TV audience. Gus Johnson on the call. He's on the program today. Looking forward to that. IU basketball, Hoosier Hysteria, getting official visits from Christian Lander from Evansville Rights. He's one of the top players in the country in that 2021 class. Highest rated kid in Indiana. I think he's 17th right now. He's a 5-star. He's someone that Archie has made a top priority with numerous visits to the southwestern part of the state. But a top priority for this signing class is Dawson Garcia, a big man, 6'11", out of Minnesota. He was one of the first people they went and visited as soon as they could get on the road this week. I think Indiana's in good shape with him. I really do, but we'll see. There's been other times where I thought that and it didn't work out. But I think that he is needed for balance. Balance in this class. You want him there now so he can learn under Joey Brunk, so he can learn along with Trace Jackson Davis, so he can learn under Deron Davis and go against that talent while he's learning. The work ethic. There's just a ton of things that you learn. And having experienced guys around to learn from now would be invaluable. Invaluable, as opposed to coming in a freshman with just with fewer. Let's be honest. The competition breeds competition, man. Iron sharpens iron, as Coach Allen is fond of saying. And it do. But a great show coming up today, man. The women's soccer team was down in they're down in Lexington, Kentucky. I think they're in Lexington. Maybe it's the volleyball team. I don't know. There are so many people are everywhere. But the women's soccer team beat UT Martin 2-1 last night with a goal by Alawia Wos in the 87th minute. There's only 90 of them. So that's the late stages of a soccer match. Indiana now 3-3 on the season. Congratulations to Coach Edwin Van Bennekom as he's trying to get that program up to the level of the men's soccer program. Text into the show from Tim. Is there a limit on how many players can come in on an official visit at one time? That's a good question. I don't think that there is. But I think that kind of governs itself because you want to make sure that they feel like they are getting the attention that they want, that they are the star of that visit or whatever. So while a showcasing event like Hoosier Hysteria is easier to do that with because it's such a grand event, I don't think that there's a limit, Tim. And asking, will they walk the recruits across the floor this year? No. There's a reason they didn't do it last year because they did it the year before that, and that is teetering on a recruiting violation. You cannot announce their names. You can't make their presence known. If you recall a couple of years ago during Hoosier Hysteria, the coaches would escort the players and parents across the floor from the locker room entrance. Well, Indiana uses two different entrances. Their locker rooms spans the entire west side of Assembly Hall, but they normally come out of the south side when they're playing. But when the game's over, I think they usually head the other direction. But that's where they were marching those guys out from. That's a no-no. So they put a stop to that. I mean, it was inadvertent, but and as stupid as that is, how stupid is that? That is a recruiting violation, isn't it? That's just plumb ignorance to me. All the crap they have to worry about, and that's a recruiting violation. Give me a break. But oh well, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Hey man, we got a big show coming up. Tom Brew's going to join us next. See what he's up to. He was one of the first to get the piece out on Michael Penix. We knew about it, but had to hold off. We started hearing those rumblings about him on Wednesday, and went to the coach's show. Was wondering if there would be any mention, but not only was there no mention, they didn't mention Michael Penix's name. If you were to go back and listen to that radio show, his name was not even brought up one time. I don't believe in that entire show. They did not want questions about that, and so they didn't even mention his name, which was a little odd. But we're going to be going with Peyton Ramsey, and if he could continue what he was doing in the Eastern Illinois game, well, things will be good. 13 of 14, 226 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Threw a 1-yard pass to Ronnie Walker that turned into a 64-yard touchdown. Those things are more likely to happen now with this Kalen DeBoer offense, as I was talking about earlier. It is such a rapid-fire machine gun approach, spraying the balls. You're just spraying the balls all over the place. Tight ends, running backs, wide receivers, bam, 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 bam. Everybody on a given play, you have no idea where the ball's going. Then, if they can get this running game untracked with Stevie Scott or Cole Guest or Ronnie Walker or Samson James, that's a lot of bodies to throw at him offensively. Key's going to come down to defense for me, to be honest with you. It's going to come down to defense. Can this young, inexperienced defensive line hold their own? They don't have to be supermen, but they're going to have to make some plays here and there. They're going to have to get pressure on the quarterback. You cannot let a quarterback this talented stand back there and throw. He will pick him apart, as good as the secondary is. The secondary is only so responsible, because if you give a quarterback all day to throw and the receivers the time to just run around, I'm telling you, you can't stop that. But if they can get some pressure on the quarterback and some timely stops, and more importantly, some timely turnovers or turnover, that'll be huge. But low expectations and just keep hope for the best. But it'll be an exciting time, man. It's going to be undoubtedly a sold-out Memorial Stadium. It usually is when Ohio State comes to town. A lot of excitement. It's going to be beautiful weather. It was supposed to be like 80 degrees or something crazy. 81 degrees, I think. It's a noon kickoff. I got a feeling Samson James leads the backs in this game, according to Tim. Text in. Hey, that's what happens, man. Big games, big names. Big games, big names. Step up. We'll certainly see. When we come back, we'll have Tom Brew from Sports Illustrated Indiana with us. We'll talk about that and more. And then later on, in the final segment, the voice, Gus Johnson, to join us. Stay tuned. We got a lot more Indiana Sports Beat Radio coming up here from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. We're back right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers.
An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs, Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the golf club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lewis, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day, or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
You're on the line with Jamal Meeks, former Indiana Hoosier, number 23, 1992. And I'm on the beat with Jim Coyle.
Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat here on this Friday the 13th, coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Great program lined up today. The voice, Gus Johnson, joining us in the next segment. But right now we've got one of our favorites, Tom Brew from Sports Illustrated Indiana, out brewing up some coffee, I understand. How's it going, man?
I'm doing well on coffee. It's been a busy morning, so it's coffee cup number 3 at the moment. So.
Yeah, I could use another cup. I've only had the one, but I've been kind of tethered to the desk here. But a lot coming up this weekend. Obviously, a big game for Indiana football. A little bit of a blow with the potential loss of Michael Penix. Should say potential because nothing's been confirmed. But it's not exactly like this is Indiana losing Alan Henderson during that run. Peyton Ramsey's a guy that's played a ton. Had his best game in his career against the Ohio State Buckeyes, and he's got that leadership quality that's already there for him. So it's not like it's all hope is lost.
Well, no, it's not. But I have to tell you, Jim, it just the way it looks, Michael Penix is hurt and he's not going to play Saturday. And I have been since I launched my website on August 1st. I have been looking forward to Michael Penix Jr. taking on the Ohio State Buckeyes. And 6 weeks later, here we are, and it's not going to happen. And it just disappoints me just huge. I mean, not only as a fan of college football who wanted to see what this kid could do against the number 6 ranked team in the country, but just as a storyteller too, it's just like, you wanted something great to happen in a game like this. And certainly, Peyton Ramsey can play and all that, and we talked about that all throughout fall camp with this quarterback, debate as to who should be the starter. And everybody was in agreement all along that just Michael Penix with his big arm and throwing deep and being able to run, that he was just the more dynamic player. And now it looks like he's not going to play. So it's just really, really disappointing to me if it's going to come out that way. And based on what I could tell today, it looks to me like he's not going to play. It looks to me like it's Peyton Ramsey, and game time decision is what they're still saying. But when you haven't practiced all week and you haven't been able to throw all week, and you're not going to just throw a guy in there. So I'm assuming Peyton's going to be the one, and we'll just have to take it from there.
Yeah, I reposted a video clip from our friends at Fox 41 in Louisville, WDRB TV, Aaron Matus, who does the great coverage of Indiana football, is more than any other TV station. But they posted a clip after his touchdown pass to, I think it was Peyton Hendershot. You can see he shakes with his right hand, which that could be completely normal for him, even though he's left-handed. But when he's walking off, you can tell the right arm is just freer than the left. So something happened. I don't know if it was on that play. Something popped when he threw. It was a short throw, so it wasn't a long throw either. But it was visible that he wasn't quite the same, and I don't think he played again after that.
He did not, and I have watched that video again this morning myself. And you're exactly right. I mean, that TV station, there's not a TV station anywhere that spends more time with Indiana football than they do. And the clip is great. And you can really see his left arm, just something not right with it. And to me, I've experienced guys around some shoulder injuries in the past. And to me, that's what it looks like, that maybe he's probably done something to that shoulder. Now, I also, though, went back and watched that drive, on the replay of the game, and I never see him get hit, so it's not like he got hit and got hurt. If I had to, I'm not a doctor and I have never played one on TV, but I think just from watching it, if I had to guess, he's probably strained that shoulder somehow, some way. And if that's what they mean by it's probably a short-term thing, and where maybe it just needs some rest and rehab, that's fine, but that's usually, a couple weeks thing. It's not usually a couple days thing. So we'll have to see how it all plays out. But, like I said earlier, man, I'm just really disappointed.
Oh, yeah, we all are. I mean, we're all looking forward to that. And not just that, though, just the potential of doing something that they haven't done in a very, very long time, beating Ohio State. And to do it at home would make it all the more special. But with UConn coming in the following week, I doubt that we see him for the next 2 weeks because they're not going to need him against UConn.
No, I agree. And, but it would have been nice to have him out there on Saturday because, I had a great time. The story I wrote this morning was all about, the last time Indiana beat Ohio State, back in 1988. It's been 31 years, and 24 losses, since the last time they beat Ohio State. And certainly if Michael had played, there was obviously no guarantee that, Indiana would have won Saturday, but I think I would have liked their chances a little bit. But, to go back and revisit that time was great. And because it's going to be an electric atmosphere there. It's, even though it's a noon game, it's early, I think the crowd was still going to be totally into it. And, we'll just have to see. This is still a very good team that we like to think is, going to have a good season. So, and they trust Peyton. I mean, it's the one story that I can best tell about that was even after Michael was named the starter and he had played game one. I talked to Walt Fillier, the wide receiver, for Indiana, and he's like, man, and we were watching all camp too, and all three of them were good, and Peyton was really good, and he's my guy too, and it's like, so like this team will absolutely rally around Peyton Ramsey on Saturday, and they will play no different, than what they would have with Michael out there. They have that much confidence in Peyton Ramsey to do well.
No, and something that has helped is the fact of this offense under Kalen DeBoer. I've likened it like a machine gun. It just sprays the ball all over the place, and so that helps. I think helps Peyton Ramsey out. It's a little more conducive to his type of game. But the biggest thing to me is the defense is going to have to stand up. Indiana has been outscored by Ohio State in the last 5 years, 70-17 in the fourth quarter. So this defense is a young line, but they're going to have to step up and have some timely stops and maybe a timely turnover.
Right, and I agree. But I think that where we will see a difference this year with Indiana's defense compared to some of these other years is their depth is so much better. Especially in that front seven. They feel like they can really rotate defensive linemen now without having a drop off. They absolutely can rotate linebackers without having any drop off at all, and I think that will make a difference because when you go back and watch these last 5 years, now granted, Ohio State's had some tremendous running backs in the last 5 years, between Ezekiel Elliott and Mike Weber and and Dobbins, they've got some great, big, huge backs, but that big offensive line just wore Indiana out. And by the fourth quarter, Indiana's defense was gassed, and it's like, and yeah, they gave up some points, but let's also not forget that in the last 5 years, Indiana's offense has failed to really put up any points in the fourth quarter either. So it's a full team thing, but this Indiana team is better. So we'll see. And they've hung with Ohio State for 2 and 3 quarters a lot of times, and they've been preaching that. Tom Allen said that yesterday. That from the spring and through summer workouts and through fall camp, they've talked about finishing and being a team that finishes in the fourth quarter. Well, this is Ball State made them finish in the fourth quarter, and they did. And last week, of course, didn't matter. But here they are. That to me is the biggest question of the day, along with can Peyton Ramsey play well enough to win? But can this Indiana team play for 60 minutes with Ohio State?
Absolutely, and I know that Tom Allen is not looking at this game any differently. He's just going along and it's just plugging another guy in. He's got a lot of confidence in Peyton Ramsey, and Peyton Ramsey's an Ohio kid, as he pointed out in the press conference. He had his best game against Ohio State, so things can happen. They're just going to have to do some different things. But that defensive line, like I said, is going to be key to that. But they've got to score. You're right. In the fourth quarter, they've averaged only scoring 3 points in this fourth quarter over the last 5 years. And that's something that can't happen if they want to have any shot at winning this game.
Right. Well, and I have to admit, here's a little bit of backroom journalism stuff. I was well prepared to write for my Friday afternoon column today that I was going to pick the upset, and I had four valid points as to how it was going to happen, and now with Michael not playing, I've decided not to do that. But I think the points that I was going to make from that was that Michael Penix throws such a great deep ball that Indiana has to hit a few big plays against Ohio State, and I think that's the one area where it does make a huge difference in having Peyton Ramsey in the game instead of Michael Penix is that deep ball and that long ball, and we've seen that already. They should have had 3 deep ball touchdowns already, and they've just had the one because they had 2 horrible drops, one each of the last 2 weeks with guys who were wide open. I don't think that part of the game is necessarily Peyton's strength, but that was part of it. And the other things that I think matter is like Indiana has to win special teams for sure. They've got to certainly, preferably, score some points in that area, either with a kickoff return or a punt return. But they definitely have to keep the field flipped, and that's, one area where Indiana, I think, does have an advantage in this game is with the kicking game and the punting game. And I think it has, hit a big return, and that makes a difference, that combined with this has always been a good turnover prone team. They're best in the country, 19-game streak with a turnover ended last week. But, if they could force a young quarterback playing his first road game into making a mistake or two, that can make a difference.
Yeah, I was talking about it earlier. I was working all day and all night yesterday, so I got to see that Michigan game yesterday a couple times when they played Army last week. turnovers nearly derailed Michigan in that game at home. And that's, if Indiana can get some turnovers, that's something that Tom Allen has taken a great deal of pride in. They had that streak of 19 straight games with a takeaway that ended last week because they dominated Eastern Illinois so much they didn't really have the opportunity. But that's something that they've really worked on, and that's something that could be huge in a game like this.
Absolutely. And because let's not forget, that Justin Fields, the Ohio State quarterback, he was a 5-star recruit, yes. But when he was at Georgia last year, he didn't beat out Jake Fromm. And the only action he ever got was in blowout with victories at home, And this is his first start on the road. And, we've both watched enough football to know that it's different. When you get out of that comfort level and you get out of that environment and, you start to hear some noise and you start to see some pressure, that young quarterbacks act differently on the road than they do at home. It's like, to me, and Kane Womack, Indiana's defensive coordinator, that's the first thing he said Monday, that every chance we get, we're going to hit him. And it's like they're going to make him feel uncomfortable. And if they do, and they can force a couple early turnovers and get a lead, who knows? I mean, it just flips the script completely.
Now, going kind of crazy, what happens if the odd chance that Peyton Ramsey leads Indiana to a win in this game? Are we going to have a quarterback controversy?
Well, I mean, if he does it and he plays that well, then let the controversy begin. Because the most important thing is, beating Ohio State on Saturday. And if Peyton Ramsey does that, then maybe he does, stay there. I mean, it's like, but Tom Allen has always been, and it's not just with the quarterback, it's with all 24 positions. The best guy plays, and it's no matter what, best guy plays. So, I mean, he could very easily, I mean, say he pulls off the upset today and looks great and beating UConn next week, and 2 weeks from now against Michigan State, and Michael's healthy, you got a decision to make there. But, the same token, is Peyton Ramsey at 100% better than Michael Penix at 80? That's going to be the determination, and it's like, and that's the joy of having a backup quarterback with experience. You don't have to force the issue. So, but we've seen Peyton play. It's like Peyton Ramsey is not a first-team All-American quarterback. We've learned that from last year. But like we've talked about, and a lot of people have talked about, we've never seen Peyton Ramsey and Kalen DeBoer's offense. So the first taste we got of it last week when he got to play 2 quarters was his 13 of 14 passing for 226 yards and a half. So that's, pretty darn impressive, so it's, granted it's Eastern Illinois, but he made every read correct. He made every throw correct. And, 13 of 14 passing for 93% is impressive as hell. So,
yes.
So we'll have to see how he does, and if he does, hey, if Peyton Ramsey plays great, then fine, leave him in there.
Absolutely. Tom, what do the folks need to look for? I know you got a new piece out.
Yeah, well, like I said, I went back and we, talked to the great Don Fisher, and we talked to Derek Jackson, the old Indiana quarterback, about those 87, 88 years when Indiana, kind of dominated that stuff. And there's some great Woody Hayes stories in there. There's some great Bill Mallory stories in there. And you can find that at mavensports.io/Indiana for now. It's going to be si.com Indiana as soon as we get the lawyers done. But it's there, and find it. It's on Facebook. You can follow me on Twitter, tombrucesports.com, and we're busy, and was been busy today too, because thankfully my company with Maven, we've also launched our Purdue site this morning. So for the Purdue fans, we're going to take care of them too. I've hired a writer to take care of that one. I'll take care of Indiana. He's going to take care of Purdue, but it's great to add to my company, the second site, and be able to do a lot more with advertising and hiring some more people. And so it's all been good. So, but a busy morning. We're excited for Indiana, Ohio State tomorrow. So.
Sounds good. We'll see you at game tomorrow at noon. Kickoff Indiana.
Sounds good. Go Hoosiers.
There we go. Coming up next, Gus Johnson's going to join us here on Indiana Sports Beat from Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Back with more right after this.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, Located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway, Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs, Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the golf club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lord, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day, or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
This is James Blackman Jr., former Indiana Hoosier. Make sure you're keeping up with the Hoosiers on Indiana Sports Beat.
Today's guest is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, with hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer. Pizza, burgers, beer. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville.
I remember not too long ago. Kaiser fires deep, looking for Philip. Down the sideline, touchdown.
You know that voice, it's one of the most electric in all of sports, and we could not be happier or prouder to have the great Gus Johnson with us today. Gus, how are you, man?
What's up, baby man? I'm doing well. I'm here in the nap, getting ready to go up to Bloomington to watch practice and talk to Coach Allen and his boys. So I'm excited.
You know, that's the one thing. Exciting is a word that comes to mind anytime I hear. When I was growing up, I was loved to listen. I know all the announcers and knew them all. And then all of a sudden, this guy comes along, and it's like they call you the voice, but I think they should call you the volt because you're a voltage of electricity. The energy you bring to the game is amazing, man.
I appreciate that. You know, I figure if we're going to be around each other for 4 hours, we might as well have fun, right?
It's right, man. Well, you certainly do. How did you develop?
Paint drop. We're here watching, our kids from college. We're watching our kids play ball. So we're supposed to be excited when we watch our kids, right? So
absolutely. Yeah, and that's one thing you do. You make it so exciting. How did you develop that style? Because growing up, there are so many of us. We hear these guys, and they all have their own styles and whatnot, but none of them have the electricity that you bring. So you kind of did something different, and that takes
cojones to do on that kind of a stage, to do it that differently. And man, does it fly.
Well, I'm just being myself, man. I don't really know how much different it is. I'm just being myself. I played a lot of ball growing up. I played basketball, football. Played hockey from squirt all the way to band. I was a wrestler, Eastern Conference, regional champion. Had a chance to wrestle in the Junior Olympics as a kid. So I just love ball, man. Played in high school, all types of league, football, basketball, all that stuff, man. Played college baseball. So I know what it's like out there, in my brief experience to have some success. So I just like going out there and watching those kids play and delighting in their excellence, whether it be in college or in the pros, and having a good time.
Hey, you're from Detroit originally, is that right?
Uh-huh.
That's a great sports town. I mean, what was some of the great sports moments when you were growing up in that city?
Oh, man. Well, growing up, 84 when the Tigers won the World Series, that was huge. Kirk Gibson hit that home run. That was my junior year in high school. That was huge. We also had some good, Barry Sanders came to Detroit. Prior to that, Billy Sims was there. We never had a great football team. Our Lions aren't great, as we've been seeing, but we love them anyway. Michigan football. Back when I was a kid, they had Rick Leach as a quarterback, Anthony Carter, wide receiver, Ron Simpkins, Butch Woolfolk, and Bo. We all love Bo. So those were some of the things that we, Tigers, Pistons, wings were good. Reed Larson, he was a good player. So Michigan State, we just love ball, man. That's all I can say.
Another great thing about when I think of Gus Johnson, I think of these great phrases. And then there's these. You made the commercial that almost kind of makes light of it a little bit in a joking manner, which is funny. But man, you come up with all these phrases. Do you have people feeding you this stuff, coming up with all of it on your own? How do you come up with all these things?
Well, I read a lot, man. I read a lot of things, and I like to play with words. So some things come from just experience. Growing up as a kid from the inner city, playing ball with all kinds of different kids. My parents from the South. My dad had a bunch of funny sayings that he used to say to me all the time. He would say stuff like, boy, the more I teach you, the dumber I get. He would say stuff like that. He said, boy, talking to you, he was pointing at a brick wall. He would go, boy, talking to you is like talking to a brick wall. I don't get nothing.
I think we grew up in the same house, man.
Yeah, right. He called me a big dummy all the time. You just grow up and people are clever. They're old sayings, because my parents were from the South, so there are all these old sayings and stuff like that. And I read a lot and I listen a lot, and some things just come, I remember we were doing that Ohio State game a couple of years ago, and the night before, me and my buddy, my spotter, Scott, he's a rapper, so he's a great writer. So he always comes up with phrases and stuff that I use sometimes. We'll be sitting around, because like last night we sat around talking about the game. We're excited about this game. I mean, what's going on with Penix? We're going to find out. What are you hearing?
Well, there's a video that we saw. I've been watching a clip that I've got on my Twitter account at Jim Coyle ISB, and there's a clip on his last touchdown pass to Peyton Hendershot, and you can see afterwards there's something not quite right with what appears to be his shoulder. He shakes it with his right hand, but he's left-handed, obviously. But as he's going off, you can see he's looking a little more freer with his right arm than his left. So I'm guessing that there's a little shoulder inflammation. Wasn't hit. We've been talking about that. We don't see where he's been hit or anything like that. So it's kind of like a non-contact injury that is affecting him.
Oh, okay. So we're going to find that out, because I'm going to drive up there after I get off the phone with you.
So they'll tell you the truth, Gus. They won't tell us the truth, but they'll tell you the truth when you're in there.
Hopefully they'll tell us something, because
man, if that boy can play tomorrow, that kid can play, man. That kid is a prospect.
Yeah,
I'm looking at this Indiana team. I'm like, whoa, they look good. Like, I mean, I know that their last game, their opponent wasn't. I'm excited to see them play Ohio State because, I mean, if you think about it, you know, Justin Fields, Ryan Day, this is their first road game, so they had to sleep at the roadside inn tonight. You know, it's not going to be a home game. They got to sleep at the Holiday Inn or sleep at the Red Roof Inn or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see. And I tell you, if I'm Indiana fans, I make sure they don't get any sleep. But I mean, that would just be me as a fan of my
Absolutely.
team.
Fortunately for Indiana, Peyton Ramsey has played a lot for them. As a matter of fact, he had his best game as a Hoosier against the Buckeyes last year, throwing for 322 yards over in Columbus. So, and with the advent of Kalen DeBoer, the offensive coordinator, that offense is like a machine gun, sprays that ball all over the place. So hopefully that's going to be mitigated some in that regard. But they've got at least a very experienced quarterback if Michael Penix can't go in Peyton Ramsey.
But they look like they got a lot of speed. They're getting more speed. I was looking, they're getting a lot of guys in the skill position from the South. Am I right about that?
Well, Florida Pipeline, man. Tom Allen's got a Florida Pipeline.
And they said that I was reading the stuff last night, and they said that this is the best 2019 is the best recruiting class in the history of the school. And that was
the
backed
best
up
one
by prior to that. So they got back-to-back great recruiting classes, 17 returning starters. I think you know what? I think the Hoosiers, if they play their game tomorrow, they could give Ohio State the business. They could give them the business. I could see it happen. I'm excited. I'm really excited. I can't wait to get up there today to Bloomington. It's such a spectacular day outside, man. Whoa.
The weather's going to be incredible. A great day for a broadcast on Fox tomorrow at noon. We can't wait for that. That's the only thing I hate about being in the media. We're fortunate in Indiana to have a great Don Fisher on the radio call, but calls like yours, I don't get to hear those. So it's disappointing that I have to go back and rewatch the game so I can listen to the call. But it's going to be a spectacular day. When you travel to the different college towns, and we're very fortunate that Fox has the Big Ten rights because we get as much Gus Johnson as we can muster. But what do you enjoy about going to these different Big Ten cities?
Well, I mean, it's all about the people. It's really what it is. It's always about people. You know, it's not about the machine. It's about the people that run the machine. And I just love the nice people that I run into that are always, you know, excited about their team and their school. You know, positive, looking forward to it. I like the food. You know, last night we went to Champs here in Indianapolis. Well, first of all, I cheated yesterday afternoon when I got in. I went to the mall here in Circle City Mall, and I had mint chocolate chip and butter pecan ice cream. I haven't eaten any of that in a long time, man. And I enjoyed that. We walked around Naptown, just chilling, and then later on, you know, got some nachos and watched Thursday Night Football. So I don't know, man. It's nothing ever big. It's always the small things, the little things, the experiences that you have with people, and then you get to the schools, and you know, I just love watching kids play ball, man. It's really not that big of a deal to me. It's natural, and I like to be excited about watching our kids play ball and say good things about our kids. And, you know, I'm from the Midwest. There's a different mentality, to be honest with you. There's a different mentality between the Midwest and the East Coast. Hello?
Yeah, we're here. How do you prepare? Do you prepare differently for a football game versus a basketball game, Gus, when you're going into it? I mean, or is it just the same? It's a broadcast that you're preparing for.
Well, I've been doing this for 30 years, man. So, you know, it's pretty much the same. You just prepare. You want to know stories about the guys. That's all, where they come from. You know, what they've done, what they want to do, what their coaches want them to do, what they're good at, what they need to work on. You know, that's really what it's about. It's about the human element, talking about people and telling stories about people. That's what I like to do. And then watching what happens unfold. Watch the game. And because the game is in front of you. It's not on any notes or anything like that you may have, or all that homework that you supposedly do. It's the game is in front of you. The story is in front of you. So Like, for example, I mean, to say if Penix plays, that's big. That's a big story. Now we go into it. And, I'll research it when I get up there. Say if Penix plays, we go into it and we say, hey, he's been nursing such and such and such. So then we get a chance to see how he plays, and then at the same time we say, hey, they got Ramsey that was a starter that played well last week. That is right behind him. So there's no drop off. So that's a big story, and we look forward to seeing that story unfold. So that's kind of how I do it.
Yeah, maybe they're playing a little possum with Ohio State. They're pulling a little
You never
hardball
know.
magic out.
You never know. You never know. You never know. You now Ohio State. I mean, if you think about it, now Ohio State has to prepare for both those guys.
Absolutely, that's the
they're
thing
different kind
about
of quarterbacks.
Absolutely, and I'm looking forward to that. What's a game? The games like this, is every game a big game to you, or are the big games big games?
Every game's a big game to me, man. Every game, sometimes, I'll share a secret with you. They actually hired me to call games on national television. Can you believe that? They hired me, man, so every game is a big game. I don't care if it's Michigan, Ohio State, or if it's St. Cecilia taking on Little Sisters of the Poor. Anytime I get a chance to go in front of a microphone and watch sports and talk about sports and call sports, it's huge. So I never lose my enthusiasm for that. And I always make sure that, I am 100% engaged in these great young people that I'm having an opportunity to see right in front of my eyes.
And you're, like I mentioned, Fox with the great affiliation with the Big Ten. How getting to cover the Big Ten, what do you like about covering this conference, and whether it's football or basketball?
I like everything about the Big Ten. I'm from the Big Ten. What's not to like? It's the greatest conference in the history of sport. This is the conference of Jesse Owens. This is the conference of Jack Nicklaus. This is the conference of Gerald Ford. I mean, this is the Big Ten. It's America. It's Americana. I love the Big Ten. I love the stadiums, and I love the crowds, and I love the people, and I love the athletes, and I love the academics. Next week we're going to Wisconsin, Michigan, Wisconsin. This week we got Indiana. I've never called a football game at Indiana. I'm excited to go to Memorial Stadium. What's the crowd? The crowds are pretty good, right?
It's going to be a sold out. I'm certain of that. It'll be a packed house between Ohio State bringing their fans over, squeezing in, and Indiana fans. It's going to be a sold out.
Yeah, man. It's going to be a lot of crimson and cream and scarlet and gray in that place tomorrow. That's going to be exciting. But that's what I like about it. I just love it. It's sports. It's the Big Ten. It's Bo and Woody and Bob Knight and Gene Katie and the Big Dog and the Fab Five and Charles Woodson and Archie Griffin, and it's just legendary stuff, man. And I'm just so happy. I'm just so proud and honored to be a part of it.
Legendary stuff, and a legendary announcer. I mean, and the fact is, you're still a young man, and you have already made such an impact on the industry, on sports, on American sports for people. I mean, I can think of so many games where I think of your call on a particular play or whatever, and how that call makes that so much better. I mean, it would have been great. The play's great in of itself, but your calls are just really add, and you never go over. Even though you're grand, you don't seem like you ever go over the top.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Man, I just love sports, man. Sports saved my life. You know how it is when you're growing up and you're changing, you're evolving, you might have stress in one area in school, or relationship with your girlfriend, or relationship with your parents, your dad, your mom, maybe you're beefing. I don't know. We all go through that kind of stuff. I could always find refuge in sports. It's funny, I'm doing it now in my life, to be honest with you. You know, I don't play basketball or football or baseball or anything like that anymore, but I'm like an avid golfer. And my mother was a golfer, right? And I was an athlete. I was playing all the sports in school, and mommy would come home and be like, "Yo," she started playing golf at work in the women's leagues. And all of a sudden, I remember because I was, as a kid, I had a bunch of trophies and stuff. Mom start bringing home trophies. She was winning the long driving contests and stuff like that at the job. I was like, wow. So she was always trying to get me to. She said, "Baby, I want you to play golf." And I said, and I would listen to her, but I wasn't interested, And she just would hound me about it, like hound me sometimes. "I want you to play golf." And one day I said, "Mommy, I don't want to play that sissy sport." And my mother was from the rural South, and she never cursed. She never cursed. My grandfather was a Baptist minister. My mother never cursed. But when I said that to her, she goes, "Baby, I love you so much, but you're a dumbass." And she said, "You think you're going to be able to play football and basketball and baseball and hockey and all that stuff all your life? No. But when you get older," she said, "you can play golf until, you die." And she said, and baby, it's the sport of business. So, I would mess around with it from time to time just because she would get on my butt. But I never took it too seriously. I would go out over the years and have some beers with my boys, and we would go out and hit the ball around. But she passed away about 5 years ago. And it's strange. When I was a kid, like I said, I found refuge in sports. Like, I was the kind of kid that I would practice, and I know this doesn't sound good. I would spend the extra 2 hours in the gym, right? As opposed to spending that extra 2 hours on my homework. That's how I got down. So mom died. She passed 5 years ago. And I said to myself, I'm going to dedicate myself to becoming the best golfer that I can be, to honor my mother. And that's what I've done over the last 5 years. I started because I hadn't picked up a club. So I started from scratch. And I have an obsession about it now. Like, it's something that I think about during every free moment. When, it's something that I practice every day. When I'm free, I hit balls every day. When I'm in my hotel room, I'm working on my swing. I'm practicing every day. And it's funny because sometimes when I'll have a discovery, like, for example, lately I've been trying to work on turning my body. Like, to really, I was trying to work on what is the proper body turn? How do I stay connected to my body and turn as opposed to getting wristy or getting handsy? So I was at the range yesterday, and I've been working on it, and I've been making some strides, really good strides. But I've been having problems with my driver. My driver is like an untamed shrew to me. So, but yesterday I was working, and I finally figured out something clicked, right? And I'm just bombing the ball. And it's funny because every time something happens on the golf course and that idea pops into my mind and I figure something out, I feel like that's me. That's my mom helping me, and we talking and we communicating, and we still working, and she's working from up top and I'm working from down here. So sports is everything to me. And I'm just, I'm the kind of person that is just appreciative to be given this kind of opportunity in my life to see all the things that I've seen and do all the things that I do. So nothing is contrived at all. It's organic and natural, and that's something I'm proud of.
Well, you should be, because it comes through loud and clear, and we're very fortunate to have you on the show today. But more importantly, fortunately to have you in sports and get to hear those great calls that Gus Johnson makes. And man, I before we get out of here, I have to if I had the honor of having Gus Johnson tell the audience to keep up with the Hoosiers with Jim Coyle, that would be pretty cool.
All right, you want me to do it now?
Absolutely, fire away.
Are you gonna tape it, or are you gonna use it, or are you gonna do?
Oh, we'll tape. Yeah, it's where everything's.
You gonna use it as a drop?
You bet.
All right, you ready?
You betcha.
3, 2. All right, all you Hoosiers out there, make sure you listen to my main man when it's time to talk about Indiana sports. Jim Coyle. All right.
Gus, I can't thank you enough, man. We're grateful to have you on the show. Look forward to doing it again later on this season. Maybe Indiana's going to have you in here for Indiana and Michigan, because the Wolverines come to visit as well. But we're grateful to have you, grateful for your time. Thank you. I cannot thank you enough.
No worries, man. Thank you for having me on your show anytime, man. It was great to talk to you. Go
Best
Hoosiers.
of luck. Thank you, sir. That's the great Gus Johnson, the voice, the electric voice of Fox Sports. He'll be doing the broadcast tomorrow at noon kickoff. Until that's going to wrap it up for us today. We hope you have a great weekend and a great game. Hopefully the Hoosiers will take care of business. Thanks a lot to the Toddfather and the Tom Brew, to Jake. That's going to wrap it up for us today. We'll be back on Monday. Until then, I will see you on the radio.